what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight is a very special night. We're about to review this one-on-one conversation with Jeezy and Nia Long, touching on some very interesting topics. I can't wait to see it. I've been seeing snippets all week long, but we're gonna sit here and check it out together now. Let's get it rolling.
My therapist always says, take care of little Nia. So when you see this photo of yourself, what feelings do you have?
My grandmother was very religious. She made me go to church and Sunday school and Easter speeches and all that. I didn't even realize again. I just went because I was supposed to be going.
Yeah.
Right. But it came to some points in my life where things just happened that was so real that there was nowhere else to go but with God.
What was the activation moment of trauma?
I think it was several things. I think the first was being left with a babysitter that was a woman that was older than me. I mean, it was older and her, you know, touching and doing things to me that don't normally happen.
Right. Like molesting.
Right, basically. Yeah. So I was introduced to sex at a very
young.
Yeah. Second thing was that I had this lady that lived next door to us in an apartment, and she was married to this guy. They had 2 kids. Yeah. And it was around my age, and I used to hang out with them. And I was there one day, and I remember like it was yesterday. They got into an argument. Yeah. And me and the little boys was playing in the room, and I heard them, you know, and I heard that saying before, you wait till I get back. I'll be right back. And I kind of looked at the boys. I'm like, yo, you know, and sure enough, he came running upstairs and he went in the closet, right? Mm. And we was going in the closet. He was thumbing through the closet, and I saw when he pulled it out, it was like a big, like had to be like a silver 357.
Oh my God!
At them, and I immediately was like, yo, we gotta hide.
Yeah.
And
but why did you know to hide?
Because I had been around that before growing up. Mm-hmm. So I went and climbed under the sink in the bathroom and hid. Mm. And I heard some yelling and all around.
He killed the wife?
He didn't kill her. He shot her like 4 times.
Oh my God.
Right. And he ran, left us there. My mom and dad came looking for me. Eventually, they found me under the sink when the police and everything was there. But I just, you know, they just stuck with me, right? And before I was 8, I had already accepted this is the norm, right? I was already desensitized.
And at 8 years old?
Yeah, I was already thinking like, okay, this is what life is. And it gave me this thing to like always like protect myself, right?
Yeah. Because nothing felt safe.
Right.
Do you have other feelings?
My brother died when we was younger.
What did it do to your mother?
I mean, my mother had a like very toxic relationship.
You and your mom?
Yes. My sister's my little sister.
Yeah.
Right? But I call her my little big sister because she's probably the only person that can talk sense into.
My relationship with my father was probably very toxic. Well, because he wasn't there. Okay. I didn't have the example of what a family was supposed to look like.
Right.
The first thing before you marry someone, it's like, well, what is his relationship like with his mother?
I feel like my mother, it came from her not being raised right. Very violent, very verbal, very cold. I just remember that.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to get things on Amazon is not with.
I was kind of on the outside because I looked so much like my father. They divorced, and all I know is my father just told me straight up, he'll never trust another woman again, which made me go, shit.
Well, what was that about?
Because whatever happened between them hurt him.
So one was not feeling safe and protected when you were molested.
Right.
2 was a void of love and compassion and acceptance from your mom.
Yeah.
And then the third one was, okay, now I'm going to completely disconnect from myself here because there is no love here, and I'm going to go to the streets and I'm going to hustle and I'm going to make money and I'm going to prove that I'm worthy of this love and I'm going to be somebody.
Right. When I left my mother's house, I had to be around 13, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
And the reason why I left because she put a gun on, right? Okay. And basically told me like, you know, you go either do what I say, I'm going to take you out of this world type thing. I was just like, yo.
Why was she so hard?
I don't really know her father like that. And as I get older, I start to realize that you just never know when somebody went. You know, one thing I love about my mother, she was spicy. Like she got a tongue that could cut half the world down.
I love it. So I'm raising boys.
Right.
It's very interesting when you are trying to get that young boy to be a man and to go out into the world. And I would say that I do a good job of being present with them.
Right.
But then there's that part of me where I'm like, I don't want to raise mama's boys.
I got an option to go to this boot camp. And in that camp, I was able to get my GED, learn life skills, and a bunch of different things. It was my first time being pulled away from my environment, right? So it definitely gave me time to think about, you know, what I wanted to do with my life, where I wanted to go, and it was a different type of experience because it was like a lot of structure.
Good reading
that
now,
I
this
was
little
used to.
fry.
And it's crazy. I'll never forget. It was one of the times that I was there and I was getting ready to get out. And I remember we went on a field trip because it was near water, and I remember it just being on a military ship, like, you know, because the waves are crashing against it. I was just like, I don't want to go back home. I might just should jump over.
Really?
Yeah. And I thought about it a few times. It was so real. That's probably the only time in my life where I haven't felt that low, that I felt like this could be the end for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I buckled back down. I came home, and I definitely turned my hustle up. Like I just went about it as a business. And this is around the time that I had my son. And he made me focus on becoming a man.
We are born as beings meant to be here to love.
Right. That's the crazy thing though, because as I say at 46, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But I can't honestly tell you that I've experienced love. Like, especially non-conditional. Like, I couldn't tell you that. It was always something to it. Right?
Well, maybe you had to get open to it first to heal it, to attract it.
Well, I mean, you know, when you're coming up in a family, right? There should be at least a baseline of health.
Yeah.
Right? And just healthy, you know, just conversation, right? And I can say that I probably got more love in the streets than I did when I was. And that's one of the reasons why I love my grandmother so much, because she was the only person that I can recall. My dad's folks was a little more common.
Yeah.
My mom's folks, they were playing the radio.
Is your mom still alive?
No, my mom passed. My mom passed during COVID. She had dementia.
So my dad, same.
Yeah.
My dad passed away the day after Kobe Bryant.
The crazy thing is when she was there and I was going to visit her, and when she had dementia, it was a little crazy because I couldn't really, because I was trying to get to a space where I can forgive her. I just try to talk to her. And then, you know, my mom's smart, even if she had dementia. Like when I started talking about the hard stuff, she started like, you know, acting like she don't really understand what I'm saying.
She didn't want to talk about it. It was too painful for her.
Yeah. You know, I love my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Of course you do.
And I think I spent most of my life, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm successful.
Yeah.
It was trying to prove that I'm enough. And every time I got to a milestone, there was no fulfillment there, right?
Because she didn't acknowledge.
She didn't acknowledge it.
Watch these cats, you don't know what they go
I picked the software engineering program because they pay very well. It's a fast-paced industry.
Look at superstar, what they going through. Just know they got money.
Lately, I've definitely been on my journey. So a lot of work. My uncle just passed. He's one of my favorite uncles. Everybody who knows my music know I talk about him. He's my first uncle that gave me $20. And I flipped it a zillion times, and that's how I'm here.
Yeah.
And his name is Bo Slick, and he gave me his disability check. He passed last month. And
that must have been tough.
It's crazy because I went to the funeral home in our hometown, and I went and saw him, right? And I hadn't seen him in a while. And I said, he had a smirk on his face, and I was like, look at Slick, he's still giving him hell, boy, he think it's funny.
Yeah.
He go, but it's crazy because he was laying in the exact same place, last place I saw my mom. So on the way back, I tell my driver, I give him an address, and I say, yo, take me to this address. And we pull up, it's like an old church. My sister has it set up nice out there. When we set it up nice, where when my mom's buried, we got like a bench and all these things. She has a crown and stuff, so it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? And it's peaceful. And I went out there because I had some life changes that was going on. And I wrote her a letter on the way there. And I sat down and I read the letter to her. I told her about her new granddaughter, how amazing, beautiful she was. I told her that working on my relationship with my son, and we're in a kind of cool place. I told her about my middle daughter and how beautiful she's turning out. I told her about, my life changes and the things that, that I'm concerned about, some of my fears, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, and I basically forgave her.
Ooh, that's good.
And the basis of the letter was to tell her, everything that was going on in my life. And, even if she's not proud, I understand.
What did you say in the moment of forgiveness?
I understand what it's like to raise a rebellious kid. I understand what it's like to have your own wounds, that your work that you need to do, right? And she didn't get a chance to do that. And I understand that maybe she had a different way of loving me that I didn't understand, right? And because my mom is type of you, if I go to the basketball court and get jumped, she gonna take me around there to fight everybody one-on-one.
Me too.
Right.
I'm taking
She's
too.
like, come on, him first, him second.
And I got your back,
right,
and the Vaseline's in the car, and I'm gonna take my earrings off, and let's go.
Yeah, that's her.
But do you understand that that was her way of loving you?
Well, this is what happened. And this is, I'm gonna keep it a buck. This was like, I was in LA, so this was like maybe 2 nights ago. Early morning meditating. And I was meditating, and I had a vision that I saw my mom. And I was talking to her. We was just talking. I asked her, I said, I forgive you, but can you forgive me?
For?
Not for taking what she gave me and embodying that, right? And having that same type of energy. Because when my mother died, I didn't grieve, right? I didn't cry.
Not at all.
Nothing. And I asked her to forgive me for not sending her off right. One thing I learned about life now is that even if somebody treats you wrong, right? It's how you react or respond.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's been the biggest lesson for me.
And I can't look at what she did to me and then react. Right. My response is what we had, and I promise you, like I sat there and I explained.
Now I had to pause it real quick. I say the point where he at with, I mean, a lot of time people watch these famous cats and don't believe that they normal human beings, or like they go through stuff, and a lot of, I guess that's why I love the music, because like I say, a lot of his life resonate. It's a little different, mine was probably a little better, but a lot of points resonate when it comes down to when you get to the older stages and really start going through stuff, or even the little situations that you go through and you don't share with nobody. I mean, most cats might think, oh, that's normal. And then you get older and be like, oh, no, that was fucked up what they did. But then you're embarrassed and you don't want to say it. To me, it sounded to me like he kind of like on some therapeutic type shit to me. It's kind of hard, like I say, when you get that persona being in the streets, it's like you tough all the time. Like every single day you tough. It ain't really a weak moment. Yeah. that's really how you carry yourself. So most likely, whenever you need the moments to be vulnerable, you don't get them because of what everybody is expecting you to be because you're this big, tough, drug dealer, street dude, and that shit carries with you. But let's get back to it.
To, the things that affected me and why I couldn't connect at that moment. And that, she asked me for forgiveness, but I wanted her to forgive me. It's like we left in a gray space, right? She doesn't know how I feel. I don't know how she feels. I promise it was like this pain, like it was like somebody like stabbing you in the chest with a pitchfork or something. And it was just like hurt so bad. And when she told me that she understood, I started to feel it dissolve.
When you get to a place where you can forgive, even when there's pain involved,
right?
That's freedom.
It's so tricky because I promise you, like I'm a Libra, so I'm like a very balanced, fair person, but 99.9% of the people I've met in my life have wrong or did something that I just was like, wow. And it could be anyone from anything. So it's always just that. And I go back to that instance when I was under that cabinet. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like you feel that, and I imagine going through that, throughout your life. And that's what I have to tell people. Like I don't think people understand that. It's like when you tell people you lost this many people, they look at it like you're exaggerating. But you got to really think about it. Let's just say Tupac. Tupac was 25, 6 when he died. Imagine how many people he lost if he ever sat down and told you, I'm double his age. I lived past him. So I've lived 4 or 5 different lives.
As you had these different versions of self, right? Did you feel connected to the experience, or did you have an awareness to say, I know that what I'm doing is wrong, but this is what I have to do to survive?
Well, this is the thing. I learned my gifts early on.
Yeah.
I was a visionary because I always see things. And I noticed that I was a disruptor because I find myself going with the not so popular decision. But I know what's right in my heart, and I'm a problem solver. And going backwards, right? God gave me a gift. I understand that because he kept me safe, he kept me alive, he kept me free, and he made me successful in a sense. I hadn't gave anything back to him yet, which is why I lost my voice because I tore my vocal cords in the beginning of my career, which is why
How did you do that?
Not knowing how to perform and tore my vocal cords.
Did you have to have an operation?
Yeah, and I didn't have insurance. I got 3 Lamborghinis and no insurance.
Yeah,
I had insurance on my cars and didn't have insurance on me. I had to pay for it with a brown paper bag. After that, I did my prayer and he got me out of it. And then I got hit with Bell's palsy. And my face was crooked. That's like one of the last time I talked to my mother because I told her I was scared. I was like, I don't think my face will ever go back again because it was like crooked. And
but do you remember what happened when? Because that's a emotional nerve.
Well,
thing.
I wasn't taking care of myself. I was drinking Cristal for breakfast and Waffle House.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was 260. I was just in bad shape. I got an album out that's doing well.
Yeah.
I'm going around the world. I'm at war. You know what I'm saying? I'm losing friends left and right. I'm at war with people who have, at the time, way more money than I did, more influence and power.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm just holding my own, right?
Again, under that sink.
And it's just like the same people that told me they was my brothers, now they trying to kill me. Like, imagine that, right? And this ain't like around the corner. This is state to state, right?
Yeah,
so now I'm dealing with all this and I'm trying to navigate it. And, God got me out of that again.
Look, I think it's really important for Black men and Black women to have these conversations. I don't think we have these conversations enough. And I think it's a really tragic place when there's a person who's afraid of intimacy, right? Because intimacy is the trigger in which we can actually start to unpack ourselves. Are you guarded? Because you seem guarded.
Yeah, very. One thing is my relationships have been very much on the surface when I started losing a lot of people, right? Because you don't want.
Are you talking about love relationships or homies, like people?
Homies, and then even love relationships I've been in where, people just ain't right.
You do realize and I've had to learn this too, because I can be guarded as well,
Right.
right? Is if you are carrying that,
Right.
you attract that.
This is
So
what I
if
heard.
someone else is guarded or someone else is not being their full authentic, because in some sort of way, we haven't settled in. And I think it's really hard to do when you're in the industry that we're in, because
Right.
everything about this industry tells you you have to be a certain version of yourself that people expect you to be.
But see, that's the thing. See, I go even farther back.
Yeah.
Because my situations are dire, right? Because if you're not guarded,
Then you're dead.
there you go. And, you know, if you're not guarded and you're not smart, then you end up in prison. If you're not guarded, you're not smart, then you're up in these situations where, you know, you're on the losing end. And going into music, it didn't make it any better because now this same type of energy.
Now you're an act.
But see, that's the thing. That's where the imposter syndrome will get reversed.
Yeah.
Because it's not me wanting to be like them. It's them wanting to be like me.
Right.
I'm the truth. I ain't his daddy, his cousin, his uncle, his brother. He said, oh, I'm him. Like there's nobody that I know that's walking this path of life that I walk that can stand while I stand and say I did the things that I did. Anybody who really has common sense knows that, right? But I want to ask you, how do you know that I'm guarded? Just by having this conversation.
Because I'm from where you talking about. See, game recognized game. Game recognized game.
I think you're guarded too, though.
Well, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm
What
guarded.
would make you guarded?
Don't fuck with my kids. That's like off limits. Not even a little bit. And if you do, you will hear from me. That comes from me not always feeling safe as little Nia,
Right.
and me not wanting my children to ever not feel like they don't have me active in their lives as their safety.
I love him. I think he's an amazing guy. I think he's very charismatic. I think he got all the things, but I think that the way I've tried to love him over the years was totally wrong. Not his love language for him. And I think the things that I instilled in him as a youngster, you know, doesn't serve him now.
You know, I had a really public breakup recently. It was a wake-up call for me in the sense of like, okay, you're gonna do this on your own and you're gonna be fine.
Right.
And you're not gonna worry about what anyone thinks and has to say. Because the relationship was rocky for a very long time. So, because I don't believe another person can break anyone up.
Right.
Like I don't buy that, right? To your point with your son, I think.
All right, now, where we at so far? I mean, like I said, I've been in that space where you've been into. I mean, it's not like being on the house with somebody and they pass, but you know, my mom, I know that'd fuck me up if I wasn't on a speaking terms of my own parent and they died. And I had a lot to say, a lot to ask. And then it's like even in the final days, it wasn't even like she was able to get information because due to Alzheimer's purposes and things like that. Number two, I mean, as far as the people who you trusted and then they want to do harm to you, that's kind of where parts where I think I'm gonna say, in my opinion, he didn't understand. Um, the way that you came out with the same persona, like you was still out there. It's just that you was doing shows, but it was that. And then at the time, you know, people like me seen, you know, the cat that he is now before he became this cat. If you listen to a couple of the blueprints on the out of the music, he kind of was telling you, you know, at the time progressed on how to make the money and then how to make the transition. So for me, it was like, okay, is he gonna live the music? And then he did. But like I said, that whole guarded thing he keep saying, it's like being a regular person, okay. we all have a natural shift of being guarded. It's just a natural motion of people who have been hurt. When you get to their type level, it's a different level of guardedness because you famous now. You know, you walking past people, anybody could be the enemy. You don't know anybody. You don't know who from who, whatever. So it kind of gives you a lot. Like you said, the vocal cord thing I heard on a past documentary. I didn't know that he had Bell's palsy. That's a little crazy. I do hear about it, and like I said, it doesn't go away. It comes and goes. So that means he still has it. But let's continue on.
My older son saw me trying to keep the family together, but I had to come to a place where loving myself was bigger and more important than saving anybody.
Well, if you got to save your star player, if your star player is not doing good, the team.
Can we not talk players? Can we use a different? Can we say like the best horse in the race?
Right. Oh my God.
But the reason I know that you're guarded is because when I was in high school, I only dated drug dealers.
Oh really?
Oh my God, that's where I was. I lived in South Central LA. That's what it was.
Wow. I would have never thought that.
Really?
No. But going through your trials and tribulations, like
Yeah.
I know you're working on yourself, like we all
Yeah.
are. Do you feel that you're okay? Like not what people are supposed to see and supposed to think. You
Get the deals you want and the gifts they need. Go big with a hard-hitting obesity e-kit 100.
I think I'm exactly where I need to be, which is some days I'm like totally good, and then other days I'm like,
I feel that.
you know, and then other days it feels like women shouldn't have to be this strong.
Right.
I don't want to be this strong sometimes.
Right.
Okay, you made me cry.
Yeah, I got you first. But you're good though.
No, I'm good. I mean, listen, it is what it is. You know,
I mean, it's life is a funny thing because like I always saw myself, my vision of myself was you know, well manicured man, good skin, wedding band, plain Jane watching the wearing this right now.
that's not plain
And,
Jane,
yeah,
by
I
the
know,
way.
but it's-
That's
I
very
was
reminiscent of
right.
Hustler days.
I feel, you know,
That's a little
felt
hustlery.
Well, it's supposed to be plain Jane, but I felt a little spicy.
Nah, nigga, that ain't plain Jane.
And I don't think anybody should have to be that strong.
Black people have survived insurmountable obstacles. The journey of being Black in America is not easy. And I'm not a victim to any of it.
Right.
But I'm realistic to the journey.
Right.
I know how I am treated differently in certain situations. I understand that I have to raise my boys to be men.
Right.
I understand that I have to figure out the balance between being soft and vulnerable and open.
Is that hard? Like being
No,
soft?
because that's who I want to be. That's who I really am.
But I would say personally, like I would appreciate that because it's hard, you know, because women have it their own thing they go through, but then when you deal with men and you have that hard exterior, it's hard, right? Because we already fighting the world, you know what I'm saying?
But so are we.
But that's what we got to find to have media.
I didn't have enough examples in my own life to like understand what it really meant or what it really means to see a relationship between a man and a woman that is healthy and balanced, and you work through things instead of like every conversation is not an argument.
Right.
And I don't think Black men and Black women have those conversations enough.
Even now we're doing the work. That don't mean everybody else is on, and that's the crazy part.
But that's the thing, you got to let them go. You got to let them go, and you got to let them be on their own journey, and you can't fight for it anymore. And you got to love them exactly where they are. And you got to say, baby, you know what? The hardest thing to do is to walk away from someone that you still love.
You didn't tell me
And
it was
it's
a pastor
okay.
too,
No, I'm just speaking from my own, speaking from like,
I
you know,
1000% agree because
experience.
the hardest thing I had to do in life was walking away from everything that I knew that could support me. Right?
That's right. But what was the moment that you knew you had to walk away?
Something happened in the Bay. Somebody got killed. We tried to put it on us while I was on tour with police. They came to lock me up right here in LA. I just remember going out of jail. And, you know, I took care of everybody. $1 million bill for everybody. $10 million.
Oh my God.
Sitting in the county jail. And as soon as I get in there, somebody comes to get me out. And they're like, we got to get you out of here. And I'm like, no, I can't leave these people in the county jail. I got to stay here until, you know, I can get everybody out the same way we came in.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, I didn't want to tell nobody how to touch my finances.
Yeah.
So I had to figure that part out. I ended up getting everybody out. But my point is I sat in there for 2 weeks until I can get everybody out. The people that I had that was supposed to be in my corner, nobody check on my son, my daughter, my household.
Nothing.
And when I got out of jail, I was at the lowest point of my life. I did everything right on this tour. I didn't take any gang members or nothing crazy. I took the people that was working. I stayed on my bus the whole time. I did everything right, and I got caught up. I had Minister Farrakhan calling me every other day, like, Jeezy, brother, the enemy's coming. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So
why was he calling you?
He called me and said, Brother Jeezy, your message has changed. The enemy is coming to get you. I said, with all due respect, Mr. Farrakhan, all my enemies in my neighborhood, I'm not going back there no time soon. He said, no, the enemy. What he was saying was that my message was changing and I was starting to educate my people.
Oh, right? Wow.
And now here comes the enemy. And he was lying. It was when I got to that arena to do my show in front of 30,000 people, it was my turn to go on stage. It was maybe 70 police back there. Wait, I tell you, Mitchell. It was a span of my life, maybe like 3 years, probably shortly after my first album. Like it was shootout to shootout. Like I've been in shootouts with my dad being right there. And it's like a combo of everything. So it's a combo of the street shit I had going on before that.
Yeah.
There's a combo of the get money life with these guys. And then there's a combo of just people that I just never had a liking for. They have a liking for me, that we just was in the same city trying to coexist. I used to get up and pick my outfit based on what I was, if it happened tonight, how I was gonna look. Right.
You were like, if I die tonight, my shit's gonna be fly. Do you realize what that does to your psyche, leaving the house thinking like, I gotta make sure my shit is fly if I get killed?
Boxers, everything. I want to wear the best boxers.
You're like, I will not have any holes in my underwear.
I promise you, that was my life. I didn't understand how I was gonna even make it out, right? And that's where all the drinking came in, because now I'm trying to self-soothe. I'm trying to.
Were you an alcoholic?
1,000%.
Did you go to like AA or did you just?
No, I just stopped.
You stopped.
Because my mom and my dad, they was, you know, my mom's side of the family, they drank a lot. And when I was leaning in on my vices, I started to notice that there was a couple of things that happened a few times where I wasn't sharp. And I was just like, okay, if I don't stop this, we get got. And then I would just like back away from alcohol. And what I would do is, well, two things. The first thing is I wanted to get healthy. So I got down, I dropped 60 pounds, got myself together. This was right before the recession, because the time of my career before, from Streets is Watching to the recession, which was about 6 years.
Yeah.
I was out of it. Like I was leading men, right? I went everywhere with 150, 200 people. Every city I went to, it's another 300 waiting on us. It was like.
Now, that's another good point, right? Now, a lot of people it's going to resonate, but it's going to miss. And like he said, when he get up and he going to the club, is the same way the reason why you see drug dealers walk around every day fresh. First off, nigga, I symbolize money. So I gotta look like it. For two, if I go out, I'm going out looking fresh as possible. Then like with me alone, does that do something to your psyche? I'ma say no. part of the game. So you rightfully had to be prepared for whatever comes with the game. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm gonna say it did never do nothing to my psyche. Definitely after a while, it kind of numbs you to having to feel. And I can't naturally say I had a certain type of stress. I mean, every night I made it home, I was just like, yeah, good looking, my man. Got me home another one. But, you know, after about 1,000 successful nights, it's like, you know, damn, maybe I am just that I'm blessed. And it kind of makes you move different, and it does soothe those parts. Um, even like he said too, like that vice, like that's the reason why I don't drink. I mean, many people ask me all the time, they think I'm tripping. Yeah, man, you give me some clear water. Because like I say, man, my folks drink and they drink enough for me and 10 kids. And two, um, I just really don't like the effect that alcohol puts on your body. Bad enough, you know, we eat bad. We don't work out. So it's like I'm not looking for any extra additives to, have me, any conditions. I just stick with you know, my CBD and the rest is history. I mean, I don't really need all that good stuff, but your family will deter you away from a lot of things, a lot of vices and things like that. Um, I never took pills, never drank juice, never smoked anything other than, marijuana, a little alcohol here and there, but I kept a minimum on the drugs because I was watched firsthand what they did to other people, and I ain't never want to be that person. Let's get back in.
It was like a real thing. And I was leading everybody off the end of a cliff. So you were saying that you feel like we can't connect because we're doing too much time fighting each other
Absolutely.
instead of fighting for the relationship.
Or fighting for love and understanding and commitment and compassion. But it starts with men feeling, comfortable enough to be vulnerable and open. And that's a hard thing to ask a man to do because we were not conditioned that way. A lot of us weren't raised that way. It can be considered a sign of weakness in the same way that therapy is considered a sign of weakness. We're talking about your experiences and my experiences. We have more in common than we probably ever thought we did, right? And so to me, that's the thing that makes me feel this sense of urgency to have this conversation with you, but also there's a hopefulness. There's a hopefulness that if we actually each do the work, we can actually come together because there's nothing more important to me than Black people.
Right.
We are the greatness in every room.
Right.
We are the ones who set it off and make it happen. We are the ones that create the culture. We are the artists. We are the artistes. We are the voices that lead them places. But what has always hurt me to the core is why is there this dismantlement of the Black family? Why isn't it that Black men and Black women can't sit like you and I are sitting in a space and have really open dialogues about things and work through the trauma? Because that's the only way we can really be productive.
You said if it couldn't work, then you would leave.
Yes.
Even if there was a family, even if there was kids involved.
If the other person is not willing to do the deep, hard work, then you stay. And when you stay, you have to make yourself smaller to stay, to survive.
1,000% agree with you.
Or you may not I think for a woman, it means you have to make yourself smaller to feel like you're fitting into this space with this person who's ready.
Right,
You can still love them.
right,
You can still love them. You can still wish them the best. You can still, I mean, you might have moments where you want to cuss somebody out. Like
Right.
that's normal. Like we have feelings and emotions, but you can love people right where they are.
right,
Because to me, that's really a sign of my own personal growth. If you can love the person that hurts you,
right. But you mean love them from afar?
you love them from afar,
Right.
you wish them well, you bless them on their journey, and you hope that the next time around
Right.
that they have the opportunity to do the work that they do the work.
What happens when you're a man and you want nothing more than that, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what you're getting on the other side, and there are kids involved, right? And there's somewhat love there, and you understand that somebody else might have their thing,
Mhm.
but they're not taking this journey with you of healing, because I think love is two people healing together and giving each other
Absolutely.
the space to do so. And the thing for me is, when I went to visit my mother that day, I went to forgive her, but I also went to tell her that I'm gonna stand up for little J,
That's right.
right? The little J that she put in that position. And I think a lot of my healing journey, especially in my real life, has a lot to do with me never standing up to my mother the right way,
That's right.
which made me be a certain way in real life.
You're kind of all the things.
Right. What's all the things you mean?
I mean, like you're like a cat. You kind of live 9 lives.
Yeah.
You've had many different versions of
What's
self.
up, right.
So right now, where are we?
In my life, I wanted to have a family together.
Yeah,
I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be the
to
person
get it right.
to get it right.
Me too. I wanted to get it right.
To be right,
Yeah.
to do all the things. And when you get in that space and you're letting your inner child down and you're not protecting them, and that's making you shrink in situations like that too.
Men do.
Yes, because if you're not appreciated, if you're met with resistance, if you're
Yeah.
met with that inner thing that somebody else has for their thing,
That's fixable.
you gotta want to.
I agree.
But you just said clearly,
Yeah.
the person doesn't need you out.
There's an expiration date on everything,
Right.
right? Like, and you gotta know when it's time to be done. And that's usually not about another person and or, you know, some chick that's willing to like make you feel like a king, because that's why most men cheat. Most men cheat because
That's fascinating to me.
it's so gross. It's so stupid.
I personally, this is my quote. Real
Yeah.
niggas don't cheat.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
I kind of understand what
They do
you
not.
mean when you say that.
They do not.
I understand what you mean when you say
It's
that.
something in us
Yeah,
that makes us want to be right. Right.
Yes.
Across the board.
but is that so that you are living up to the expectation that you've set for yourself? Because again, you're going back to your childhood wounds of
Right.
trying to be perfect
Right.
to receive the love from your mom, or is that really where you've landed, that you want to be a man that does things the right way because you want to be honorable
Yes.
and you want to respect the woman that you're with? Because those are two different things.
I want to be honorable, and I'm just anybody that's real. And when I say real, I mean real with yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna hold. There's a sense of integrity there.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
my life,
What happened to integrity?
my life is built on integrity.
Yeah,
That's my moral compass.
yeah,
If I'm not integral, I'm off.
yeah.
And for me, doing the work is integral,
Mhm.
right? For me, coming forth and telling my truth is integral.
Right.
For me, taking the mask off and saying that even your favorite trapper has flaws and things that he has to work through is integral. Doing a versus battle in front of the world, they know who you are and what you're capable of, and you taking another approach because you want to save lives is integral. That's disruptive, not making the favorite or the most favorable choice because you have a position to play. So when I say
Well,
that,
it's in your purpose, right? Like when you're more in line with your
and I
purpose.
swear to you that more than ever,
Yeah,
I understand my purpose is walking in these footprints in God's death.
And what is your purpose
My
now?
purpose is to be the best version of myself
Mhm.
and to teach my culture everything that I learned along the way. Just like I did when I was in the streets and I made music. Now that I'm writing books, everything that I learned in that book, everything that you see me do in real life is my contribution to the blessings that I have. Showing men that we can come from where we come from and still be integral, still be solid individuals. Because I think what you're saying is we haven't seen enough examples of solid individuals.
That's right. We don't have that roadmap.
People is either one side or the other. So, somebody's thinking for that. We're not thinking for we, right? Somebody's either trying to, and by the way, I had to go back and down my ego all the way back
That's
down.
the other thing we haven't talked about.
Right.
There's no space in any of what we're talking about for ego.
Right. And if you're living by ego, you're basically trying to either control someone, or to get them to see life the way you see it.
Yeah.
I had to learn that that's not how you live life, right? And most of my
I had to stop it right there. That's a good point. Like I said, two big words that people get misconstrued. First one is integrity. People will say, I'm full of integrity, I'm full of integrity, but they'll do something to show that they're not. Next word, like I say, is ego. That definition they had up there for ego. People always say, oh, ego, ego, ego. Nah. Because most people would think the definition of ego is self-centered, someone who, worry about, their self-ego driven. Oh, now ego is meant someone who does, pretty much want somebody to agree with their every word. So a lot of times when you think of most creators, they make things. They don't make things based upon wanting people to hang on their every word. So, that word ego is very powerful if you know what it means. The government has an ego. Just going by the proper definition. People that wants to control have egos. They want minions, they want followers, so on and so forth. And that's, good info as far as the difference. Integrity, like I said, people will handle things and say, I have integrity, but then it turn around and snap on somebody. You don't have integrity. When you build integrity, that means you handle things properly each and every time with integrity. You be the bigger adult, bigger man. As long as you don't put your hands on me, I'll turn the other cheek. As long as you don't hurt me, I'll turn the other cheek. Words can't hurt. That's showing integrity. Being a bigger person, things like that. That's integrity.
You okay from fear,
Absolutely.
right?
There's good ego.
Right.
There's good ego that allows you to do this, because this is something new, right? There's good ego that allows you to be a disruptor. That's good ego. Because in disrupting the system, in disrupting what we're used to seeing,
Right.
you're also providing a new way of doing things, right?
It's hard though.
Yeah, it's hard because you're putting yourself in a position to be an example.
Right.
But you're still learning and growing.
And also you're putting yourself in a position to lose everything that you built, because people can, coach you can do one thing, they like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I learned not to preach or to preach. I'm not this role.
That ain't no joke.
When you come from where we come from, it's
That's
okay
CBD.
to evolve, because at the end of the day, I don't want my kids just think I was just a great artist. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a great man. I'm a great person. I'm a great father. And I was
That's more
saying
important than anything.
because I was saying, God, I'm a real nigga, like all that. And now you all these things. I'm all the things, right?
I just said that to you and you looked at me like I was crazy.
No, I was trying to figure out what things you were saying. But I'm all the things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also somebody who's failed. I'm also somebody who's lost. I'm also somebody who my life plays out in public a lot, right? And people always see the bad things. I'm always somebody who wants to do the right thing, and sometimes, you know, the masses don't want that, right? And sometimes, you know, I've been taught to keep your mouth closed and don't tell people anything, right? Especially how you live and how you move.
Well, that's what we've all been taught.
Right. And now just opening up and having these conversations, you know, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, wow, like, you know, when you see people not getting the message right and you go, they just really don't understand.
As Black people, this is a beautiful time for us to be inspired by each other.
Right.
To be able to say we no longer have to have this experience on this planet in this small vacuum.
Right.
Where we are of service to the world. And when I say to the world, I mean to white pop culture.
Right.
Now there are tools and examples and people and practices in place that can inspire us in a different way. When I was, you know, 9 years old wanting to be an actress, when I was little Nia, there were like very few people I could look up to and say, oh, that's who I want to be.
Right.
We've cracked that a little bit,
Right.
a lot of it.
Right.
So now I think what you're saying is we all have the choice. We have the choice to decide when and where we're going to get the mental health support that we need, but you got to want it. And I think the stigma behind mental health, especially with Black men, is huge.
It's a weakness.
It's a weakness. And the reality is your brain is a muscle like anything else on your body. If you can go to the gym and lift weights, then you should be able to sit down with someone and exercise that muscle in between your ears and have those conversations, because those conversations are tough, but they're also really necessary.
Yeah, it's hard though, because I have people that I know look up to me that they're really, you know, have been there with me through a lot of things. And I think they don't understand
where you're at
and where I'm going. It's like the disconnect is so real, and it's almost like there's only a chosen few people who understand what's really at stake.
I was talking to a guy friend of mine a while ago, and he said, Nia, and I was just complaining. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you know, I love this person. And he said, everyone has a cap on their capacity. And if their capacity is full, you could be doing backflips, front flips, you could be the best, the sex could be amazing, all these things could be amazing in that relationship. But if that person's capacity and desire to grow isn't there.
Have you ever looked at the ingredients in your shampoo? Seems fishy. Meet Native, clean, effective hair.
Then you hit that wall.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everyone that hits the wall should give up.
Right.
I'm saying that if your partner hits the wall and you're not quite there yet in your personal growth, you have a big decision to make.
If I'm ready and my partner's not, what happens?
Well, how do you know she's not?
Let's just say I know. Like it wasn't. What do I do? You're my sister right now.
I'm your sister.
You giving me some advice, hypothetically speaking.
Well, you don't want my advice, because my advice is I'm out.
Really?
No, I don't give up easily.
Right.
I will never give up on someone I love. I don't care how high we are or how low we are.
That's how I feel about it. I love me now.
Yeah.
At the point I didn't. So I can't give up on myself.
That's choosing yourself.
Is that wrong?
No. That's the ultimate freedom, the ultimate acceptance, who you are now, where you are now. And where's that picture you showed me earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Of you when you were younger.
It's my guy right there.
Oh my God.
I talked to him on the side. He was kind of cute, you know what I'm saying? He's cutie patootie, you know what I'm saying?
Look at here, big as shit.
Well, you gotta have a look at it. It's boring if you ain't got no gangster. When you look at him now, what do you feel?
Honestly, I'm gonna share this, and I haven't shared it with anyone. I had a meditation where I was in a deep meditation for like 45 minutes, and I dozed off into this field, like it's like a field, and it was like a old house in the middle of the field, like a barn house. And I walked through the field and I walked in the house. And there was a TV on, was playing cartoons. I walked around the house. I didn't see anyone. Went in the kitchen, went in the room, didn't see anyone. And someone told me to go downstairs. And I walked downstairs into the basement. It was kind of dark, little light on in the corner. Couldn't really see much. And I walked around the basement and I ended up in the corner.
Yeah.
And I heard someone sniffle. I walked over and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he had his back to me. And I said, "What's wrong, buddy?" And he turned around and it was my younger self, the same face in his
That's
picture.
amazing.
And I said, "What's wrong?" He said that I'm tired of everybody. Like, he basically was trying to tell me he's tired of not being able to trust anybody and everybody doing him dirty. Right? And he was crying and I just looked at him. I said, "It's okay now. I'm here, buddy."
To protect self.
And he said, "You sure?" I said, "Yes, I'm here." And he just looked at me. He said, "You promise?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Give me a hug, man." And I literally, like, this is real talk, like, I'm laying in my bed, right? I ain't cried since Tupac died, right?
We all
And
cried
I'm
that
laying
night.
in my
That was
bed
awful.
and I'm feeling tears roll down my face in my bed.
Oh.
And I looked at him, I said, "You're good, buddy. I'm here with you now. I got you." And then I said, "Why are you in the basement?" He said, "Because I was hiding." I said, "Well, what do you want to do, man?" He said, "I want to go play. I want to have fun." I said, "Well, let's play it." So I took him upstairs. He ran outside, ran around the whole field in the yard, swinging on the chairs. I'm literally feeling myself go from tears to smile, no, to smiling, because he's happy. And we played all day, played till he got tired, and we went in the house. And we sat on the sofa and he watched cartoons until he fell asleep. And he sat on my lap, like laid across. And in the middle of it, he just woke up and he's like, "I love you, man." And when I tell you,
That was it for you.
it's almost like my heart, like exploded, like whatever pain that was in
That you
there,
were carrying.
it was like 1,000,000 pounds off my chest. And that moment, I just said, no matter what in life happens, I have to choose to take care of my inner child, take care of myself. And that's what I promised my mom when I wrote her that letter, when I went and sat with her at her gravesite. And I just remember walking away from it. And I looked at my phone and I said, "I did it for us, man. I did it for us, Lil J." And that was all I needed for me, because that moment for me, my life has just been clear ever since. And I always put everybody else first.
Me too.
And I never put myself first.
Never.
You know,
I know.
And I've tried to love everyone that's came in my life. Everyone. Like the best way I could. Not to say that I know what love is or I know what these things are, but the best way I know how. And I always got a short end of the stick. And for this one time, in this one place, I chose myself. Our world, our people, they need to hear this shit.
Absolutely.
Like, they need to know
Absolutely.
that, you don't have to be stuck in this place that is trauma and this pain, all these things.
We're supposed to be living joyful lives. Women are supposed to just be able to be feminine and soft, still be in your power, still be successful, still be mothers, professionals, famous, whatever it is. We can be all of the things, right?
And men should be able to be loving and not feel like they're gonna get emasculated or these things, because, and I just feel like if everybody took the time to look inward and to work on themselves
in an honest way.
You have to be honest. And I just feel like if we can do that as a people, we'll be in a better space. And I think for me, it's risking a lot, because, anybody that would have been in my position that would have been thinking for self, and I think it's success.
No way they would.
I think it's success when you accomplish what I accomplished. That's success.
Yeah,
Success is for yourself. Significance is what it's about others. and I'm in a significant space right now.
I don't know that I've ever had a conversation like this with any man.
Oh, wow.
So for you to say the words but still have this very masculine presence
Right.
is kind of nice, because it's like it goes against what I think women will be like, he's soft, I don't want, because there are women out there that don't want that, which
1000%.
I don't understand that. I think you want the balance, right? I think women want leadership. They want to feel protected.
Do they want leadership?
Well, it depends on the woman.
Right, yes, sir.
Depends on the woman, right?
Right.
And it depends on where you're leading me. Because if you're leading me someplace where I don't want to go, then no, we're not doing that.
Right.
But if I trust you,
Well, where does the trust come into play?
well, you got to know each other. You got to be, you got
to know each other, you have to be transparent,
absolutely.
open door.
Are you able to forgive?
I started with myself,
Mm-hmm.
my mother,
Mm-hmm.
some people in my family that some foul things happen. As a family, those things should happen, but I don't know how you forgive somebody who had a malicious intent.
So in that moment where you are trying to really work through your own trauma, is it safe to say that it's healthy to say that person is where they are, I need to leave them there and forgive them exactly where they are and still love them where they are?
Well, I can say this, I've been through some shit.
I'm not laughing, I'm just like, the way you said that. No, I'm definitely laughing because of the way you said it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This is why we can't open it up. This is why I said it says, yeah.
I'm laughing because of your face when you said it was I want to know what
I've been through some shit. I've been through some shit with people I really love.
What's the worst thing someone's ever done to you?
I mean, left me and my lords. I thought I took care of them the whole time. Crossing me out. I mean, try to line me up, get me knocked off.
That's hardcore.
Took from me, stole from me, betrayed me.
But you gotta let all that go. Have you?
This is the thing I had to learn. And this is the part where it gets a little tricky. Most time when people do something to hurt you, it's out of fear.
Of course.
Right. But I didn't understand that at first. I thought this was personal.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's because Black people are raised that way. Like that's kind of part of our
trying to
culture.
hurt me, so I gotta
hurt you back or hurt you first.
There's that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I started to realize that it was out of fear, that softened the blow. Like, God damn, them niggas did me dirty, man. Like, just like I don't understand it.
That's good.
Right.
That you have that still in you, because to me, that's a part of who you are.
You gotta always keep teeth.
Yeah.
Always keep teeth. Well, let me say this. The thing that I had to come to grips with is that no matter how dirty I feel like they've done me, they probably never thought about that another day in their life. It probably didn't even matter to them. It was business as usual. And the thing that I've been living with is the fact that every day, which has probably been for the last decade,
you think about it.
I think about it, and I'm the one that's being affected by it.
You're hurting.
I'm the one that's hurting.
So to me, that seems like the last thing that you need to reconcile.
Yeah, that's the last piece.
So we've talked about all of these things, all of these themes, all of these moments in your life, some moments in my own life, where you have made a conscious decision to move forward and to choose yourself.
Right.
But what we haven't talked about is your current marriage and your current situation. And I think it would be unfair to you to not address that in this space where we're being really open and honest.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be the details of anything.
Right.
But if you've done all of this work and you've given yourself that grace and you've given yourself that space to grow and you've given yourself permission to love self, right? Then what happens when a man gets to the point where they're just like, okay, I'm filing for divorce?
Integrity intact. I could never say anything that would not honor somebody.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you that this has not been an easy journey. I can tell you that I'm saddened. I can tell you that I'm disappointed. I can tell you that I'm uneasy, right? But again, like God has put me in a different path, and that path is going to entail for me to take care of myself and to love myself and to be in the best situation and I can thrive as someone who's been through all the things that I've been through.
It's kind of something you can't explain.
Yeah, you can't. The real thing is like, I don't like to fail in anything.
Me either.
I
don't want to lose. I don't want to fail.
I don't want to fail,
I don't
especially when I know what.
You pour in.
Right. And, as I said across from you, like I can only be responsible for myself.
True.
And I can only do what I can do. Right.
Right.
I can't expect someone else to do what I'm doing.
But did you go to therapy with her?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
So you actually addressed it,
Right.
tried to work through it, tried to do the work, and it just was like not happening.
So my wife got me this weird new tool for Christmas. And at first I thought it looked kind of crazy, but
Well, then shit, you tried. I don't know about for you, but for me, it is a switch.
Right.
And when that switch
And
goes
that was
off,
that was your switch.
gone. Yeah.
Right.
But I had to realize for myself that anything that happened in the last, what was it, year and a half of my
Right.
life, that shouldn't have nothing to do with me.
And that's my
That didn't
point
have
of case.
anything to do with me. I was not embarrassed.
Right.
The way that Black people stood up for me and the way that Black women were like, oh no, you don't do that to her. I was shocked because I didn't realize that what I had done or what I'd done.
Now, as far as where we at with it now, it's, mental health. You see, he kind of dodged that bullet. And I mean, I'm gonna tell firsthand, coming from perspective he coming from. When you in the streets, mental health is kind of like collateral damage. I mean, we do sustain a lot of mental health now that I look into it, but that mental health is what sharpened iron. That's what kept us on our P's and Q's. So, to us, it doesn't read off as a bad thing where we need to go somewhere and talk to somebody and get it fixed. And even in his mind, he probably thinking like, shit, parts of them is part of my success still to this day. Still the way I see things, view things. Also how, like he said, he's a disruptor. A lot of ways I feel just like how these cats feel. We think that they unhuman or they not. Or, oh yeah, man, they just now they rich. Yeah, man, to see when you consider yourself a disruptor, meaning that everybody's going down this street. But I'm looking at my Google Maps and I can clearly see that it's a block around this way, a block around this way. I can even turn around, go halfway and go around. I'm gonna go that way. It's going against the natural order. I feel the same way at everything I do. I don't want to do the way everybody else did it. I want to do it my way. Nothing wrong with that. As far as what he say, it's parts that he didn't probably understand. When you get successful like he is, like he says, the people around you, that's not creating mental health, that's just creating mental stress. You have friends in our perspective, you done banged it out, y'all, starved together, shared clothes, been through everything. And then it's like this same person is trying to harm you. You can't trust him. You don't want him around. I mean, it's definitely a big piece. And, you know, people forget a lot of times that, you know, trust or misuse of trust is like one of the biggest things that hurts anybody, you know. But I'm glad that we sat down. You know, it's the first time I did this. And we're pretty good. We'll probably get a few more of them because a lot of these interviews I watch do be good and a lot of them be impactful and get a lot of information. This interview was just good for me because, you know, over the times, I say my kids did it for me, but it gives you that emotional sense because being in the street so long, it's like emotions get you killed. Bad decisions get you killed. So it's like a lot of things that natural people go through every day. You program yourself to think that that can be a problem if you experience it. Because I used to tell people, oh, I ain't never stressed before. I don't know what it's like. And when I did, I didn't know what it felt like because I never experienced it for so long. It was happening and I didn't even know. So, I mean, some of the times, I mean, it goes that way. Um, you know, and it's like when you take care of somebody for so long and then they just cross you, that's the most hardest piece of all. And I mean, I've been through that too. You know, I had cats I done helped since they was young boys. You know, they got older, they crossed me. I mean, but my thing is, that's why, you know, I know how he feels when he says, you know, it happens because I look back at everybody in my life that crossed me and I look at their lives and they're really basic. Um, Barely surviving, look super, super old. I mean, I can't necessarily say it's from crossing me, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like karma always got people for me. Seems like he could say the same thing. I mean, because you continue to strive, you continue to make money, you got your health, you got your mindset, and you end up with nothing. Just whatever you got from you when you could, and then it was over. Where do you go now? You back at a regular job, you know, you was hanging with me for 15 years, living the best life. Now you back at home on the block telling lies about me because you upset. I mean, it's a lot of aspects. Like I said, I got out of that interview, a lot of little things that I picked up from previous interviews. Um, I'm glad they focus more solely on himself and not what everybody's saying or this, and that. But, you know, he held well with keeping it directed on him, but he also kept the answers wide range, you know, wasn't really too self-centered, you know. But I think you guys should go check it out in entire, you know, do the YouTube because it shows the video. But hope you guys will check it out. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, of course. And as always, it's your boy Grubs, and I'll see you guys next time.